Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. If you are new here, be sure that you've signed up for my free monthly newsletter over at CorinneBlackstone.com. I share lots of really fun tips and tricks in there, plus some fun sales that might be coming up or other really cool announcements that I have. Today's video, we are going to go over everything that you need to know about HTV printables for lights. This is a really cool product and it's really fun to work with, but there are definitely some things that you want to know before you get started. We're going to be working with the StarCraft brand, so let's get started.
Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun.
Now, before we get started designing our item, I want to just go over a couple things that you'll want to know about HTV for lights. Keep in mind that HTV for lights is actually a clear product, meaning that you don't have any white background. So any white parts are going to be completely clear when printed, which will make the color of the shirt show through. So if you're using any other color shirt, you're going to see that color, especially in the white parts, but it will also affect the color of your design. So that's something to really think about. You'll also want to make sure that you know that you need to mirror the image before you print it. If you don't, everything will be backwards. Now on a shirt like this where I didn't use words, it doesn't really matter, but if you're using something with words, you definitely want to make sure that you mirror your image. Another thing to note is you really don't even need to use Design Space for this. You can print from any program and then cut around your design with scissors. Because the background of this is clear, you're really not going to see it on the shirt too much. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're not somebody who owns a Cricut, the For Lights product is a great option because you can really just trim pretty close to the image with your hand and you'll have a great picture to use on a shirt as well. Now let's head over, get these downloaded, and design. Working with printable HTV for lights is really fun and I promise you a lot easier than you think it is. We're going to go over all the different steps, all the pitfalls, and learn all about how to work with it. Now I'm going to be using this perfect match PNG design from Creative Fabrica. What we're going to do is download our design. Now I have all access, so I can get any of my designs completely included in my all access. So what I want to do is find the folder I want to save it in. So I'm going to save it in my Cricut folder and then into my subfolder, print then cut design. So here it is. It's called Perfect Match. We'll just go ahead and click save. Now from here, you're going to want to unzip your file. They zip it so that it's a lot easier for your computer to handle and for the website to handle. So open up the designs that you just downloaded, so that folder. You're going to click extract all and then just simply click extract. Now I am going to delete a few things because there's stuff I'm not going to use, so I might as well save the space on my computer. I'll eventually go back and delete the extracted folder, but for now we'll just close that. And I want to delete the EPS files. I'm not going to use those. And I'm going to delete the JPG files because I'm not going to use those either. I'm only going to use the PNGs. Now what you want to do is go ahead and open up that folder and it's going to show you all of the different designs that are included in this fun PNG bunch. Now they have some pre-made ones which are really cute, but you can definitely make your own and I'm going to show you how to do that. Over in Design Space, you're going to want to upload the images that you want to use. So I'm going to click upload and then I'm going to choose upload image, and rather than browsing, I'm just going to open it from my folder. I'm going to use the burger and fries, but we can only do one at a time, so go ahead and drag your burger over and just drop it over into Design Space. Choose complex and click continue. We don't need to do anything on this screen. The background is already removed, so just click apply and continue. From here, you want to make sure that you're saving this full color image, the print then cut image, and click upload. Now we'll need to do the same thing for the French fries. So I'm going to click upload image. I'm going to open up that folder again and just drag and drop the French fries over into Design Space. Complex, continue. Don't do anything on this page. Click apply and continue. And then again, save it as this full color image over here, the print then cut image, and click upload. Over in the recently uploaded, go ahead and select the burger and the fries and add to canvas. Now they are going to load pretty big, so it might take a second. Once they've uploaded, they are really big, so I'm going to size them down quite a bit just so we can work with them a little bit better. So I'm just going to size them down and we'll resize a few things kind of as we move these around a little bit. But right now what we have is our French fries and our little burger. Super duper cute. The fries look huge, so I am going to size those down a little bit because I feel like they'd be a little bit too big for the burger. But I don't want them to be overly small compared. Now, one thing I'm going to note is I kind of want them to overlap a little bit. So I'm just kind of deciding, do I want the fries to be on the top or do I want the burger? I think I want the burger to be over the fries just a little bit. And I think I'm going to make the fries just a smidge bigger. And what I'm going to do is, because I want the burger on top of the fries, I'm going to right click on the French fries and I'm going to send those to the back. I think that looks a little bit better, a little more kind of how I was envisioning. And I do feel like the burger still looks a little bit funny shaped. So I'm just going to kind of get them about lined up where I want them. And then just so that the bottoms are even, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go to align and I'm going to align the bottoms. I don't think I like it, so I'm going to just go ahead and move the burger a little bit. You can kind of play with it however you want. Get them lined up the way you want them to be. Once you're happy with the way that they are lined up and sitting, what you want to do is select both of the items and you want to choose the flatten option. Because we're using Design Space to cut around these, using that flatten option is super important. What this does is you'll look into this layers panel. You see how I have 2 layers? What you want to do is click flatten and you'll see now that I just have them as one single layer. That tells Design Space that it's going to be all one single piece. Think of it like taking 2 pieces of Play-Doh and smashing them together. You're never going to be able to take them apart again. And that's kind of what Design Space is seeing. It's seeing it as one single piece, so it won't cut between the fries or the burger again. Now, I think that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. But because we're using a 4 lights material, Printable HTV, we need to make sure that we mirror the image. Now, I don't have any text on this, so it doesn't necessarily matter, but I want my fries to stay on the left side and my burger to stay on the right side. So in order for that to happen when using the 4 lights, you'll need to mirror your image. So I just like to use the flip horizontal option. That way I don't have to try to remember to mirror it. It's just a lot easier. Now with the 4 lights, what you're going to keep in mind is that any pieces on here that are white are going to show through. There is no such thing as white ink when it comes to using your inkjet printer. So if you're going to be using any other color than a white shirt, not only will it affect the color of the actual project, but all the white parts will show the colored shirt design through it. That's something really important when you're working with these types of materials to keep in mind. Now, this we don't necessarily have to use Design Space to do a cut with, but I'm going to just so you can kind of get an idea of how to do that. But you could absolutely cut around this with scissors, and because that edge is clear, you're not really going to notice it once it's pressed. Now from here, let's go ahead and size this so that we can make sure that we get the biggest print and cut size that we possibly can. So I think with our width being 8.894, I think we're going to be able to do 9.25 wide, and it will still fit within the 6.75 design. Now, granted, I always say 6.75 wide by 9.25 high, but it will turn it automatically so that it fits within our print and cut area. They have added larger print than cut, but at this time it is not working, so keep that in mind. It probably will work by the time this video comes out, but for now, this is kind of what we're dealt. So from here, all I need to do now is just simply click Make It. On the Make It screen, you'll see here is our cute little burger and fries ready to be printed. All we have to do is click Continue, and it's going to bring up some options. Now I'm printing this on 8.5 by 11 paper, and I'm going to click Send to Printer. This won't send it to your printer right away, so keep that in mind as well. Now I want to make sure that I have my inkjet printer selected, which is my ET2720. That is my Epson inkjet printer, and when you're working with Printable HTV, 99% of the time it's going to work with an inkjet printer best. I find the Epson to be a great option if you're looking for an inkjet printer. I think they're well priced, the ink lasts a really long time, and they print super high quality. Now, if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that 9 times out of 10 I tell you to leave the ad bleed on. But in this case, we are going to turn it off. The reason we're going to turn it off is because the background on this is clear, So if it cuts off the edge a little bit, it'll be very noticeable when we go to press this on a shirt. And if it's off the edge a little bit when it cuts, it's not going to be as obvious as it would be if this had a white background or a green background or something like that. So I'm just going to leave the bleed off for this item. It's really not needed. The next thing we want to do is to use our system dialog. Using system dialog is going to bring up some settings that will make your prints even better. So let's go ahead and click print. This will not send it to the printer. It's going to open up our printer preferences. So from here, again, we want to make sure we have the correct printer selected, which is again my ET2720. Go to preferences. And in here, you're going to just check a few settings and change a few things as well. First thing I always check is my document size is set to letter. Then I just check my orientation, make sure it's set to portrait. I print a lot of things, so sometimes my settings change. The next thing I want to do, I'm going to change my paper type. I find that using the premium presentation paper matte works great with this product. Now you'll want to test your printer if you have a different one, just because every printer is different, just like every Cricut is different. So you'll want to just make sure that you kind of do some testing to see what settings work best for you and your printer. The next thing I'm going to do is change my quality from standard up to high. And then I always just double check that color is selected. When I print with my printer, I almost always print black and white unless I'm printing a sticker or a printable with my Cricut. If I'm printing documents, I always use black and white, so I always double check that. Now we're going to go over to more preferences or more options right here at the top. There are two things that you kind of want to note over here. One thing, again, I always just check that document size, and the next thing is high-speed print. Now you may have a printer that has bidirectional printing. That's basically the same thing. You'll want to turn it off, so make sure that box is not checked. If you print and you get a lot of lines in your prints, it's a lot of times because of high-speed print. It can also be caused by not printing for a while and your print head's getting clogged. So if you are getting lines, even after you've turned off high-speed print, make sure that you do run a head cleaning and a nozzle check. That should fix most of your problems most of the time. Once we've changed those settings, all we need to do is click OK, and then we'll click print to send it to our printer. So for some reason, my camera did not actually capture loading the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you really quick. So one thing you want to make sure is that you're loading your image in the direction that it shows in Design Space. So in this case, fries on top, burger on bottom. And then you just want to make sure that you get it well adhered to your mat. I'm using a light grip mat and it works perfectly. Now what's going to happen is when you load this, which I'm not going to do because it's already cut, is your machine is going to turn on the sensor in the center of the carriage. That's going to then turn on a little light and it will read the lines of your registration box. Now, if this is a little bit further into the future and they've fixed Design Space, you will only have little corner marks, which is fantastic. But because this is prior to that being replaced and fixed, we have our full box. Now, I did cut this on the light cardstock setting, and before I unloaded it, I did check the cut because I want this one to cut all the way through so that we have just the image left. So all I did was I just peeled up the backing and you'll see that it is a perfect cut. It's gorgeous. It came out super really well. There's no white on the edges. It's absolutely perfect. Now when I remove this from my mat, what I want to make sure that I do is I want to flip my mat over and I'm going to roll the mat away from the design because I don't want the design to bend. Look at how cute. They're adorable. Now, you'll see that you do have a paper backing and you want to make sure that that is still there. You don't want to peel it off or anything. This is going to be a much different product than working with an HTV for darks. So for this product, we're just going to leave the backing on and we're ready to press. So let's go ahead and grab our shirt and I'll show you how to get it ready. Now, being that this design is for lights, we want to make sure we're using a light colored shirt. And like I said, think about it in the way of if you were to take a clear sticker and put it on something colored. It's going to pick up the color behind it. So if you want your colors to remain completely true to what you printed, you want to use a white shirt. This is a Gildan Soft Style, and I do believe this one is part polyester. No, this is 100% cotton. So this shirt is 100% cotton, but you can definitely use this on other fabrics as well. Now what I want to do is get my fries and my burger lined up where I want them to sit on my shirt, and you'll notice that I'm placing them face down. You want to place your 4 lights transfers face down, and then I just kind of use my hands to just kind of judge where about center is on these. And you can use t-shirt rulers and things. I just find those to be a little cumbersome for me. And then you want to place them about 3 fingers down from the collar. I think that looks pretty good. Now you don't want to place anything on this as far as like heat tape, anything like that. No transfer masks, nothing like that on this, because the backing is what's going to peel off of your design. Now using a cotton shirt is great, but you can again use any product that you want. So this is pressed at 375 degrees for 30 seconds with a medium firm pressure. I've got my heat press ready to heat up and go, and we'll get this placed over there, and I'll show you how to press this and then remove that paper backing. Now that our heat press is up to 375 degrees, we're gonna go ahead and press this. So again, I'm using a medium to firm pressure. Now I do want to lift this down really slow because I don't want to cause like any air so that that doesn't move. Now we're gonna press this for 30 seconds, and this is a hot peel product. So as soon as it's done, we're gonna go ahead and work on peeling that backing off. Once it's done, we're gonna go ahead and lift up our press. And like I said, this is a hot peel. Now I do have my pin pen handy because I hate touching these. They're hot and I don't love it. My fingers are quite sensitive, so I like to take my pin pen to help me start lifting it. Can you see how it's starting to lift over here? And then we're just gonna go ahead and peel this back very gently. You just take your time, it's no big deal. And we just wanna try to avoid it ripping anywhere. So you may need to kind of peel it in a couple directions, especially with like the little fries, because those have like little edges. But look at how cute. I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit, and then I'll show you a little close-up of how it came out. The StarCraft 4 lights came out so beautiful. So again, this is a printable HTV product to be used with fabrics, and this is the StarCraft brand. You're going to want to use a inkjet printer on these. This is not for sublimation or laser printers. This is for inkjet only, but I think the colors are so bright and vibrant. Really, really pretty. The design is super crisp and clean, and it looks great against the white background. Now, just one more reminder that when using this product, any color shirt that you use under it is going to show through your colors and through any of like the little white spots. So like right here, if I was to use a blue shirt, this would be blue and the little seeds would be blue, because there's no white printer ink in an inkjet printer. If you wanted to do something like this with white, you would need to use like DTF or eco solvent, which is a whole other process, but this is something easy that you can do at home. Also, if you use a colored shirt, that will affect the color of like all of your design. So like your little red coat holder here, the fries, the burger, it'll affect all of those colors. So you do want to try to keep it on to a white plain colored shirt for the most accurate colors. It's really beautiful, super soft and comfortable to wear, so be sure to check out Printable HTV for lights. If you have any questions about how to use this product or anything I didn't cover, by all means let me know in those comments down below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting!